My name is Jennifer, and I'm ready to step outside tonight.
Okay. I am Krystle, and I am no longer in the mood for baked chicken. And this is Such a Effin' Lady, the podcast.
Welcome back, guys.
I have not done my homework, and in an effort to give flowers to a lady of Such a Effin' Lady on the Such a Effin' Lady podcast the correct way, we are going to skip today's segment of Give a Lady Her Flowers because I don't want to rush things and I want to do it right. So because I did not do my homework, we will skip this segment.
And if you guys like flowers, like real life flowers, run to Trader Joe's and buy yourself some flowers today.
Yeah, why not? Today is Saturday, and that makes me think another option, if you are one who likes to be creative, is Flowers for Dreams. Flowers for Dreams is a flower shop that gives 25% of its proceeds to charities in the community. Right now, in March, they are giving 25% of their proceeds to Pathfinders, which is an organization for youth who are struggling in life a little bit. So, yeah, I used them for the Lux Wellness Retreat, mini retreat that I organized for women and men, because I had a nice young man come to my last retreat. But I would say the target is women to come and get a little bit of relaxation, respite, if you will, from the chaos of their professional lives. Yeah. And we used flowers from Flowers for Dreams last time. Yeah, nice. It was really fun. We did flower arranging. Yeah. It was expensive, but it's a pretty penny. But they also do every Saturday. I said today's Saturday for a reason. Flower arrangement. I don't know what to call it. They call it something.
Workshop?
Workshop, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Where you can come in and with a friend or a group make flowers.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's really cool.
Speaking of Lux retreats.
Speaking of Lux retreats, so shameless plug. Welcome aboard. You are coming with us in April of 2026. We Stay Away Luxury Travel and Kinetic Coaching, which is my coaching business. We have come together to create an extraordinary experience, luxurious experience for deserving women to join us in Ocho Rios, Jamaica. And this is going to be in 2026, so not 2025. There's been a little bit of confusion about that, so I just wanted to clarify. And it'll be for 15 lucky ladies. There is a required phone call that has to occur, which is for you to get all of your answers to your questions you may have, and for us to vet out people and just make sure that we all are gelling. And it's a community of like-minded women who will be on this trip together because we'll be in close quarters. Not close. It won't be cozy. Cozy's not a code word for.
That means small.
Yeah,
tight,
we're gonna be in a really big villa property, private beach area, and We Stay Away will be coordinating all of our arrangements and accommodations. I will be providing the coaching component of the retreat. So it's gonna be a grand old time.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, they should. If you are interested, you should go to my Instagram, which is Krystle_Camille, or We Stay Away's Instagram, which is simply We Stay Away Luxury Travel.
I feel like you should spell your name just because it's not traditional.
I should. Let me go to Instagram and I'll spell mine and for We Stay Away. So mine is at KRYSTLE_CAMILLE. And for We Stay Away, most of our posts, I am, and they are a collaborator, but it is at We Space Stay. No, it's not. I'm reading something different. Sorry. It's at We Stay Away and then an underscore. The branding is black and gold and white and teal. So you'll notice it if you're there. Yeah. So I don't want to say come one, come all, because if we don't vibe, if it's just not gelling, then we'll respectfully say, I just don't know that this is the retreat for you.
Yeah.
But if you want to come with us, yeah, Come with us. I feel like I have something in my nose. Do I?
Maybe it's your nose ring. You know, it'd be weird.
Okay.
Unrelated. I just want to say, like, I'm growing so much because this morning, after 20 years of a very strong boycott, I went to Piggly Wiggly.
Girl, Piggly Wiggly ain't think about you. Why?
That's fine.
Okay. What? What started the boycott and what ended it?
When I was in college, okay, I walked over to the local Piggly Wiggly in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. I went there with my beau at the time to get some groceries because we're seniors in college. You know, we have our little mini refrigerators, and so I needed to restock. And you know, I love my
Snack
juice.
Oh, and juice.
It might have been snacks too, but it was specifically the motherfucking juices. Oops, somebody's here. Sorry for cursing, lady. The juices I bought were my Ocean Spray cran grapes, and then maybe I got some other flavors too. I don't know, but I know I had my cran grapes.
Okay.
This old bitch, who's the cashier, says, "Is this a WIC order?"
Excuse
because I'm buying a bunch of juices and I'm black.
Excuse me?
Whore, you are cashing me out and you're like 82. Meanwhile, I'm about to graduate with my bachelor's degree. Not to shame people who don't have degrees. That's not what it's about. It's about her making an assumption about me based off the fact that I'm a black woman buying some doggone juice.
Right.
And you think I'm poor and on WIC.
Yeah, with tons of babies at home to feed off the system.
Because I know she was just the person, but I don't care. Piggly Wiggly employed her, and I had not stepped foot in that store until today.
That's a lot, Jennifer.
March of 2025.
Oh my goodness. Do you see the flaw in your ways, or do you just be like...
With Piggly, it's just when I'm wronged, Krystle, I don't think rationally sometimes. Okay. And it's like, I don't know. I just felt this very strong venom for them. And so, yeah.
Because what if she asked out of like the fact that maybe there was an order in her process, right? Let's say that if it was a WIC order, she needed to press WIC on her cashier machine.
I get that.
And so she just wanted to get ahead of like any confusion or voids.
That's so sweet. Here's the thing. I worked at not only Gold's Pick and Save, but I also worked at Sam's Club in my younger years. Never, not one time, did I ask someone before they handed me their little WIC packet thing, is this a WIC order? Because why the would you ask that?
Yeah.
No. And I know your lily white ass asked it because I'm black. There's a college right here, bitch. Why couldn't I just be coming from the college like I was to buy some juice for my dorm room?
I get it. I just 20 years is a long time. To hold on to those feelings, but I get it, friend.
And then I go today and the donuts is hard as rock, so I'm probably not going back again. But now it's not a boycott. It's just
is that where those donuts came from? Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you
on your lift of the boycott. So I guess you know, we're talking about Bumble last episode. Do you have anything you want to share this episode, or would you like me to?
Do your thing.
Okay. I am like lightweight famous on TikTok.
I wish I could have seen the way she just flew those braids across her shoulder. Go ahead.
Not at all, guys. But I think I mentioned on one episode where I said I am an influencer because someone had reviewed one of my posts. So I have made it my goal. In 2025, I will learn TikTok. And so I've made another advancement, which is now, you know how people make TikToks with the little like reply to a message in the corner and they're replying to the message? I never knew how they did that. But then I created a post and someone left a comment on my post. And then when I wanted to reply to that comment, I saw a little video emoji or graphic. Which said to me, that means that I can record my response. And I was like, oh, I wonder if this is how that happens. And so, of course, I clicked it and I'm like, let's give it a shot. And I saw all of a sudden her comment over my face. And it was like, you can move this after it's done. Of course, I had to I'm like, how do I get that shit out my face? Because I'm old. And so, yeah, I replied to it. And it was a success. And so I was able to be because I actually disagreed with the comment, which I'll get into. But I wanted to be super respectful with my point of view. So I achieved that, I think. And we had a really good relay. And she's like, I see your point of view. And so I just want to make an impact. And I think that's what's happening. I'm getting more engagement on TikTok than I do on other platforms, like Instagram and Facebook. And so I'm learning how to purpose each platform. So for TikTok, I'm using it to talk about communication tactics that I have learned over the years myself. And with my intention setting, it's been better for me, better outcomes with using those communication tactics.
Yeah.
So.
What was the post? What was the comment?
Oh, so the post that I made that I got a comment on that I then replied to was about interrupting. So I started off with empathy, which is, letting people know that I'm an offender of interrupting. I'm recovering from being an offender of interrupting people because I know what it feels like to be interrupted. And now that I'm more aware and more intentional about my awareness, shameless plug, March model, the A stands for awareness of self in the situation. So now that I am being hypersensitive and hyper aware of what it feels like to be interrupted, I am learning how to not interrupt and employing those tactics.
Nice.
The comment was in my expression of why it's important not to interrupt. Someone commented, I'm just going to go to the comment actually. Okay. So the comment was, I don't cut them off because they are wrong, but it went away. But because I always know what they are about to say, literally 9.5 times out of 10, I'm not arguing. I just don't want my time wasted. And then she double commented. She came back and said, and I don't think of it as them cutting me off. I appreciate when someone can finish my sentence because I feel understood. So I actually had something to say to both of those comments. What do you think? What's your take before I give mine?
I think interrupting is the worst and I hate it. Yeah. So, I often say when I'm being interrupted, it's like, oh, okay, just fuck what I'm saying. Carry on. Go ahead. It's fine. No worries.
So, and communication is a relay. And so a lot of times I don't think that interrupting is consciously meant to be disrespectful. It's just someone's ego wanting to just jump in and be like, that's not right, or that's not how I meant it, or that's not what happened. So there's that feeling of wanting to correct what was said.
I get that.
Before they finish. But then there's also, I have something important to say that's good to put in right here. And then that's, again, I think ego, wanting to be like, me. I got to jump in here and, like you said, fuck whatever I had to say. But I don't think it's consciously fuck whatever she had to say. I think it's more about us, the person who wants to interrupt.
It gives what I'm saying is more important. So
correct. Fuck what you had to say.
Yes. Yeah. And I would like to insert myself now where it's all you gotta do is just wait, hold that thought. Which also then I think means you're not listening to me. You're waiting for me to stop yapping. Not you, but the general you. Yeah. You're waiting for me to stop yapping so that you can then say what you're saying. And then that F's up communication as well, because now you're not even you're hearing me, but you're not listening.
Right.
Yeah.
And so what I shared in my original post that she commented on is that interrupting for me, I had to learn was about, I think ego and just the urge, like you just said, to just jump in. But it gives what I have to say is more important, which consciously is not what I'm thinking.
Right.
It's just Yeah. So I said, it also gives disrespect. It just is not what I want to receive. I don't like to be interrupted. And the other thing is, if you interrupt someone, you lose your chance at getting the full perspective that you're being given from that person. And that is information that is useful to you. So because I want to know fully, like even if you start off in my eyes wrong with something that I feel is incorrect, I have to tell myself, listen to the whole thing so you can understand the full perspective that's being given to you. And then you can respond to it all.
Yeah.
You're probably going to learn something that's valuable if you just let them finish. And then I think cutting someone off with finishing their sentence was the second comment she made. Like, she said, I feel understood when people cut me off and finish my sentence. For me, that would annoy me so much.
To no end.
And it does. I really just don't like when people finish my sentence at all. So, because it steals my voice. Even if it was the correct word that was going to finish my sentence, you have now taken that from me and all of its glory that was supposed to be mine.
Plus the ego.
It's my ego. But it's like, I don't want to do that to someone else either. But if you feel understood when that happens, if I'm that close to you and I know that about you, then perhaps if I'm being super intentional about our relationship and I can do that, then maybe I will finish your sentence because I know it makes you feel understood. However, when it comes to me, with the same care and intention, I would like for you to not finish my sentence because it makes me feel like my voice was you wanted to override my voice with yours.
I never looked at that way. Because I guess now I'm seeing it two ways, right? Like if it's you and I were talking about something, especially if it's like a good kiki or something, and then we can jump in with the same like word at the end. It's like, oh yeah, same wavelength.
Yeah, that I get.
Oh.
Yeah, I think it just depends.
Versus like, if you're starting to say something and I just come in like, oh, and you thought that blah, 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 blah. Like that finishing what you're saying, even I may be right, I may be wrong, but it's basically cutting you off to just finish it myself. Like that type of vibe. Or give an example.
Yeah, I can give an example. If maybe it's a more professional setting. If we are in a meeting and we are peers and I have an idea or something to share and I'm talking and you finish my sentence, there's a shift. It's just like, I don't need you to finish my sentence.
Yeah.
If we are keying about something and laughing, I don't take offense to that. I see us as we're on the same vibe. We're vibing. We get it. We both think it's funny. We can just give a look and we both understand what the hell's going on. We both find this awkward or funny. And then there's times when I might be upset about something and I want to get out my feeling, my anger, whatever it is. And someone who may be listening to me may think it is meaningful to finish my sentence about a thought I'm having about this person or experience that was negative. I just sometimes just want to get that out instead of someone assuming they know how I feel. I want to say how I feel.
Yeah.
And I think it's more about when people are wrong. Like when they finish my sentence and it's like, no, that's not what I mean. If you could just let me get it out, I'll promise you'll know what I mean, but that's not what I mean.
Yeah. I'm with you there. So maybe what she meant when she was saying, I feel understood, maybe she's talking about like the keying of it all.
Yeah,
is it possible? Yeah.
She then replied to my reply and said, I see your point of view. To be honest, sometimes I am communicating just to get a task accomplished and have no desire to be in relationship in any way with the person with whom I am communicating. And she double replied again and said, that colors the way I respond. If I really don't desire a relationship, as long as the person got the point, I don't consider some of these things, some of the things I was talking about. And I just replied straight to the point. So I appreciate that too, but it also seems a bit about ego when it's like, I'm just trying to communicate with you to get it over with.
Yeah.
I don't appreciate that kind of communication.
Mm-mm.
I would never want you to feel like you're wasting my time.
Yeah.
There's a caveat though. I am a lecturer because my daddy was a lecturer. And he would explain to me, as you know, we have laughed about this hundreds of times. My father will explain to you a concept 500 different ways.
Mm-hmm.
I love that you know 500 ways to break this down. It's just that I only need one because I'm not a fucking idiot. So,
because it would be like 4 plus 4 is 8. But let me
and
2 plus 6 is as well.
Right. So let me break down to you how 6 times. Yeah, it's just like it's a lot. And so my father, for an example, explained to me very, very many different ways why you can find out someone's age by the grade they are in, or someone's grade by the age that they are. So you remember this one.
Yep.
Like so many different ways. And so that's why I, though, am also a lecturer.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a time and place for lecturing. Classroom. He was a teacher for 40 years, so I get that.
Yeah.
But when I'm having a conversation with someone, then I do kind of consider it wasting time and I do feel like there's an exception to the interruption rule where I can kindly say, I love how you broke down to me how I can figure out someone's age and someone's grade. And when you use this example, I think we can move on from that.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Mm-hmm.
like you don't have to tell me another way again.
There's a meme that's going around where it's like, we got to start normalizing saying land the plane when people are just talking in circles. Like, I hate meetings like that where the person just keeps repeating, well, like I said, blah, blah, blah. We got it.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
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 Whew.
And yeah, I think so. The tips that I gave in the TikTok, by the way, my TikTok is because I'm kind of blowing up on TikTok. I'm trying to get to my friend, my BFF here has a goal that she said that she would love for me to go viral in 2025. And so since you said that, I have been inspired to make that happen for you and for me.
Amen.
My TikTok is, if I could just learn how to like give my TikTok name. Okay. At Coach Krystle Camille, spelled at CoachKrystleCamille on TikTok. I have 270 followers.
Hey.
Okay. When I started this out, I maybe had 100. And so far, my like engagement be like in the hundreds, like 100s. But
hey, still, it's a start. You got to crawl before you walk.
That's more than the 7 likes I get from my 7 friends on Instagram. So anyway,
and I'm not even one of them.
And you're not even one of them. Hello. But yeah, communication is so important, and I think people like to hear about it. But the tactics that I gave to not interrupt.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I'm a sensual person. It's like sensations help me.
Okay.
So like under the table, squeezing my hands together because I'm an impatient person.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If you are not landing the plane, and I got the concept 5 examples ago, and I don't want to interrupt you, just squeezing my hand together. What else? Making eye contact and nodding my head, like other nonverbal cues that I can show to let you know I get it and we can move on from there. And if that's not working, then I can respectfully say, I love the point that you're making, and especially the example that really totally makes me get it. I think we can move on. Let's move on to the next something that's not going to be like, okay, shut the fuck up. Another tactic is to just like inhale and count to 3 and exhale and count to 4. Arguably, you may not be listening to what's being said, but hey, they're repeating themselves, right? So you already heard it anyway. And yeah, just letting people know you're hearing them and you listen. You can respectfully ask, "Do you mind if I jump in here?" Yeah. That's the time.
On the communication train. So it's not about interrupting. But I was having a conversation with a gentleman caller about like you can be honest without being mean.
Yeah.
Because he asked me something about Charlemagne. I was like, well, I think that a lot of times he is mean unnecessarily. You can be honest, you can even be blunt, but you don't have to be mean. And that's where I think he takes it, because I pride myself on being a very honest person, but I do try to be very thoughtful in how I relay my honesty, because I do think sometimes it comes across mean, and that's fully not my intent. It's like, oh, I'm being honest, but it's really important to hone in on that skill.
Yeah. Yeah. I think people take advantage of the like, that's just the way I am. Or, I'm just saying it like it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't need to put any sugar on top or cherry on top to make the blow softer. But there's truth. And then there's like just being disrespectful. There's
Yeah.
respectful ways to share information with people that would be helpful for them.
Mm-hmm.
You could also ask if someone wants your 2 cents
Mm-hmm.
before giving it.
Mm-hmm.
Tone. So to go along with what you're saying about being mean, I think tone matters. That was one of the other viral, fully sarcasm, not viral at all, but got a lot of views and engagement. Was a TikTok I made about tone. So I found it interesting in my research about communication. There was an example that I think many people have heard, which is a sentence that can be said 7 different ways based on the emphasis that you are putting on each of the words.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with the sentence?
No.
Okay.
Go ahead.
You remember?
I know the concept you're talking about. Yeah.
So the sentence is, I never said she stole my money. You could say that. How many words are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, 7. I was right. Mm-hmm. 7 different ways, and it'll mean 7 different things. For example.
You gonna do all 7? I think you should.
I am.
Okay.
And if you want to hear it again, go to my TikTok and make me viral, guys. I never said she stole my money.
Meaning,
I didn't say that. Jennifer said she stole my money. Mm-hmm. I never said she stole my money. Meaning, I didn't say that. I never said she stole my money. I said something different. Then there is, I never said she stole my money, meaning I did not say these things. I may have texted it. I may have written it down. But to say, I didn't say that.
Nope.
I never said she stole my money. This means my money was definitely stolen. It's just that she didn't do it.
Right.
I never said she stole my money. Perhaps she borrowed my money. Or was loaned to her. I was borrow and loan gets me every time. But maybe she loaned my money. No.
Nope.
Maybe
you would be
I loaned. I have effect and effect down. Loan and borrow.
Bitch.
Yeah.
I struggle with effect and effect, guys. Carry on.
I was proud of True the other day in our text messages. She used it correctly. Did you notice that?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Anywho.
I also can't correct if it's right or wrong because I don't know if it's right or wrong.
Right.
That's fine.
Okay. So she didn't steal it. She may have something else. Okay. It wasn't stolen. I never said she stole my money. Now we're talking about the fact that it wasn't my money she stole. She stole it, but maybe it was Jennifer's money. That wasn't my $20. She took out my purse. That was somebody else's. I never said she stole my money. So now we're talking about the fact that she stole something. It just wasn't my money.
Right.
She stole my food, my drink, but not my money. So 7 different ways to say that sentence, 7 different meanings. So we have to stop acting like things that matter don't.
Right.
Because they do. And that's another thing that I've been on the struggle bus with is tone. And for me, I am very sensitive to tone. So I have to be careful with my own tone. Because when people speak to me, tone definitely matters. I take meaning from that. So who am I to be like, I didn't even say it that way. You did, bitch. you did. And I don't like when people don't take ownership.
Yeah.
Of their tone.
Girl.
It happens so much because now we are not allowed to talk about the thing that's bothering me because you won't admit to the thing that's bothering me. And I'm supposed to, or whoever, is on the other end of the receiving end of the tone has to act like it didn't happen too. And that's not fair.
Mm-hmm. I think intent also, I'm bad with tone. So I'm, work in progress. Because like sometimes I think my sarcasm comes across as if I'm saying you're stupid. I'm not. It's just, I don't know, it's my sarcastic tone, which falls flat. Anyway, so I think intent is very important because sometimes your intent don't fucking matter. Example, gentleman caller says, he lifted me up and he said, "You're so light." I said, well, hold on, because that's like light is connected to like being small. And we just had a whole conversation about how we hate people telling us we small or we skinny, underweight, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't mean that. I meant blah, 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 blah. I said, yeah, but that doesn't matter. I appreciate that's not what you meant, but it's what you said. And that's how I feel about how you said it. 10 toes down, but that's not what I meant. I don't give a fuck what you meant because what you said impacted me in this way. Yep. And so the best response from you is, oh, my bad. Won't say that again. Yep. And then just leave it at that. But instead you want to debate me about how I'm feeling about what you said.
Love that, because in my TikTok, again, Krystle, Coach Krystle, in my TikTok, I also say, I give that example, like what you intended doesn't matter once it has incited feelings. And now if we are arguing points, we're not getting anywhere. If we are exchanging perspectives, we're getting somewhere. And to go back to interrupting, when you interrupt someone's thought, now you interrupt your learning process and understanding what the full perspective is of the other person. And now you're arguing points, because if you want to interrupt because you've heard something that's incorrect, now we're arguing about whether or not it was incorrect, right, versus an exchange of perspectives and now gaining understanding of perspectives. An example, unless you have a response to what I just said. An example is, how do you feel about the word, this is about the word bitch, B word. So there's someone calling you directly, Jennifer, you're a bitch, or saying, you're acting like a bitch. Or third way is, you are bitching about this thing. Why are you bitching about this? How do you receive those three comments?
Okay. You are a bitch. Depends on who is telling me this.
Okay.
If you tell me I'm a bitch, I'm going to say, yeah, it takes one to know one. And like, that's fine. I'm going to feel no way.
Fair.
If Jay tells me you're a bitch, I might be like, well, so's your mother, but why are we saying this? What do you mean? So that's you're a bitch.
Yeah.
You're acting like a bitch, I think. It also depends on the person. I had an ex tell me I was acting like a bitch once. I was like, you know what? I don't think I like that. But it wasn't as offensive as he would be like, bitch, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, I think it depends on the person. Even though that one almost across the board might feel a little like weird, because now you're getting at like maybe like my character or something. Yeah, I'm acting like a bitch. If I am bitching about something, I don't care. That's like some white people shit. So sure, but like you just think I'm nagging.
Yeah, right. Like I wouldn't take offense. I mean, this wouldn't be David at all, because this just not in his personality. David has never called me anything except for my name or an endearing name.
Right.
But if I, which I have dealt with someone with a character, their character, I don't know how to, like their language was different, where they might be like, man, why are you bitching about that? I wouldn't care at all.
Yeah.
Because I just see you as, you're using it as a verb to bitch.
Yeah.
Versus calling me a bitch.
Yes.
But I have, in my experience as a coach, when I would coach couples, I've dealt with that, like women taking serious offense to you saying I am bitching about something, and them taking it as you calling me a bitch. Now, we have some options here. We can discuss the point, whether or not it is in fact calling someone a bitch or not, or we can get to the root of this, which is that she feels disrespected by what you said. Your intent was not to disrespect her, but now that we know she feels disrespected, what are we going to do with that? What we do with that is now you have this information, this new information that your spouse feels disrespected when you refer to things that she is doing as bitching, and you don't want her to feel disrespected. So the grand scheme of things is, I don't want to disrespect my wife or make her feel disrespected. Therefore, I will no longer use that terminology with her. I mean, so that's
easy peasy.
Yeah. Other versus you invalidate someone's feelings when you tell them they shouldn't feel the way that they do about what you said.
Yeah.
Well, I do feel that way though. So there's like, although I feel like she's wrong when it comes to that term, that phrase, but there's nothing we can do about that right now, right?
Here's where I struggle with those feelings. Feelings are valid. They are valid. And maybe I'm wrong for this, but when what you're feeling is not based on fact, that's when I struggle a little bit. So if, for example, you see a Valentine's Day card on my dresser and you feel a way about that because you think it's from another man. You're not my man, but you think it's from another man.
You're not my man, but you think it's from another man.
I'm confused about why are those your feelings when you don't even know what the F it is? Right? You have your assumptions. They're incorrect AF.
Oh, what's it my card? Anywho, it's perspective.
So like, what do I do with that? So how should I have responded? Because I can tell you off air how I did respond. But like, how should I have responded to that?
I think that you could have learned what the assumption was and then corrected the assumption. And then I think that's as far as it goes, because you started off by saying you're not my man. And so it's like you have feelings, but it's not my responsibility to change those feelings. I can give you the facts and you can do with them with what you will. You can do with them what you will. Like those are your options. You came to the source. Applaud you for that to get the actual facts. I'm giving you the facts. Do with that what you will. Now, if my man were having assumptions about that, then I would probably do a better job next time. If my BFF gave me a Valentine's Day card, I would probably do a better job of communicating. Isn't this so cute that Krystle got me a Valentine's Day card?
Yeah.
And then put it up on my dresser so that there was no confusion or assumptions to be made, knowing that he is the type of person that would see that and make assumptions.
My thing, and this is why I think I went like a little left, whatever. I don't know. I just feel like you calling me stupid. Because why would I keep a card if it's from a dude right there on my dresser knowing you about to see my dresser? So you saying I'm dumb. That's how I connected everything.
And I understand that. However, I think that what adds color to this is the circumstance. Like, why are you not my man? Or how fresh are we from you either being my man or not being my man? Like, are we on the way to you being my man? Or we just getting from you being my man? And now I see a card that might, it's just circumstance, the detail.
It's
an open wound, or it's the hope for more, like depending on where we are in our relationship. If I'm on my way to wanting to be your man, that could get in the way of it, my assumptions. If I'm fresh from being your man, there's an open wound to consider.
Yeah.
So that's it. I think there was another example, a little bit more extreme. There was a woman who posted about her wedding ring, and she left the house without her wedding ring on by mistake and had to make the decision, do I go back home to get it or not? And considering the circumstance, which was that just the prior night, she and her husband had got into it. and she knew that he would be home before her, and there was in some way he was gonna notice that her ring was not on.
Yeah.
Or the way that she left it, I think it was on the countertop, is what I'm remembering. He was gonna come home and see her ring on the counter. They had just had an argument the night before. The fact is, she forgot. But the perception is, she didn't want that perception to be given.
Yeah.
And then have to explain that that's not what she meant. That's not what she was doing, was trying to make a statement with her ring. So it depends. What do you want? What do you want to communicate? And so I think if you walked into a bar and you saw me at the bar and some guy from my past was real close to me in my ear whispering something, imagine what your perspective would be and how you perceive that information now. The fact could be, and then now you're my BFF, but if it were David, my husband as well, that saw this, he has assumptions. Now, his characteristic is to not even say anything. Now I don't get to explain. It'll come up months later, like, well, you was at the bar with so-and-so, and I knew I couldn't trust you. And I'll be like, he was just telling me I had tissue on my shoe. And because he knew me from a past life, he felt comfortable enough to say, hey, nice to see you again, but I want to tell you, and not in front of everybody, you have tissue hanging off your shoe. That's totally different and very respectful conversation happening than what might be perceived by my BFF who knew he's from my past, or by my husband who knew he's from my past or not. He's thinking, this nigga's in my wife's ear.
Yeah.
So I think that's the difference.
I just know these niggas not have me fucked up for 2025, okay?
Just saying. So, yeah, I mean, watch what you're saying, guys, and girls. And I think on the other end, could you be open to considering intent and perspective, like outside of the facts? Is that something you're open to doing when it comes to like miscommunication?
In this instance, what do you mean though?
I mean, when, like with the card, like understanding this is the situation between myself and this person who's angry. I'm assuming like angry or not pleased with the card on the counter. You're just staring at me.
Because I don't want to interrupt, so go ahead.
Would you be willing to consider the circumstance and like, okay, I've given you the facts. I don't think there's much you can do with that except give the facts and then keep it moving.
But why do I even have to? That my thing was, because it was brought up twice. One was like, it was a little joke, and so I didn't have my glasses on, so I put my glasses on. So like, what are you talking about? And I was like, oh, and I took my glasses back off because I'm not a joke. Don't be questioning me. What are we doing? No.
Oh, okay.
Then it came up again, and so then I'm like, so I feel the assumption is being made that that's from another dude, which it could be, by the way. But the assumption that's incorrect is that this is from another guy. But understand, like, I'm not an idiot. So if I know you're coming over here and I have not just a card, but my dead flowers up there, like I would remove that.
Right.
Knowing that you would see it. So what are we talking about? And why am I doing this with you? And
why are we doing
14 days?
Yeah. Okay. Now that I have a hint more, is something burning?
I smell like sage or something.
Okay,
like
sage.
They smudging the area or something. That's
I'm not trying to reject my blessing. I'm just saying.
Yeah, because it smells familiar to me.
Yeah. I don't think that we owe an explanation. I think it just helps. If it depends on how you feel about the person as well. Like if I feel like I don't want you to assume things, then I'll offer up the facts. If I feel like, because I feel like I might wonder too, like, well, they can't be stupid. So maybe it's from someone else. I probably would arrive there a little faster.
But like, even if it...
Yeah.
was like, who are you to
Yeah.
question it though? That's the part that has my mind like blown. I don't know. I think I've just decided because I have tended to do a lot of explaining. I'm just not explaining myself. And so if you think something and it's completely wrong, think it.
Yeah.
Because then we just going back, kind of like you said, like we going back and forth about, oh, well, that's not what I said, or that's not blah, blah, blah. Okay. If you say I said that shit, I said that shit. Or if you say that's what I felt, that's what I felt. You ain't in my body, but whatever. Somehow you know that that's how I felt, or that's what I meant, or I had this malicious intent behind something. Okay. Okay.
And I think that's, again, the point of not interrupting people, because then you do get to learn that whole cognitive situation.
Mm-hmm.
And now I know how to proceed or not proceed with you.
Yeah.
But just to make it up, like if you were having the conversation with this person and you cut them off and corrected them, but if you hadn't and you let them go on and, you know, they were going to ask again a second time about it, like you lose that information to be able to be like, yeah, this ain't it. So, yeah, too bad. I mean, that's just, I think, rules of engagement sometimes. It's like you don't make assumptions because you make an ass out of you and me. Yeah. So.
Where we at with time, Jay? Oh.
We're doing good. I mean.
Well, it's supposed to be 45 minutes, but yeah.
What I'm saying is I think that when we check in.
We'd be right there.
Yeah, we'd be right there. So. Ratchet? Got anything?
I don't think so.
I don't know if it classifies as ratchet, but Ye is on a roll, isn't he?
Oh, he's off his meds. So I was trying to give a little grace there.
To the little child of God. He's coming for B&J though, which is like,
well, they're kids specifically. That's kind of like, I get it now when people are like, you got to find something safer to do. Don't fuck with my child.
Don't. Yeah, you just can't.
Because I'm going to lose all my senses. And I got stuff to lose. Yeah. I will lose it 10 times over and then some more. Come from my child.
Yeah. Proudly getting my lunch in the lunch line.
Girl.
Because this is my new life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, like I tear up at the thought of someone disrespecting my child. Because then it'll be sad.
The way I had to, and we can end on this note. So we know that Echo started K3 in January. Mm-hmm. With K3 comes the drop-off line. So it's no longer mommy and daddy walk you into school and then your teacher come and get you. The teachers are out there. They open the door. You jump out the car. You go into the class. We struggled all of January, all of February. We're doing okay in March, right?
Okay.
But anyway, so one of the teachers, and I get that they don't have as much patience because like y'all standing out there in rain, sleet, snow. And you got to keep the lines moving, right?
Right.
However, at the end of the day, my child is 3.
At the end of the day, today is going to end. And how is it going to end with you, ma'am?
And so you open the door. I got my baby looking at me, shaking his head no and crying because he don't want to get out. And then you're like, come on, we've got to go. We don't have time. Watch your tone with my child. Yeah. But I had to eat my tongue to keep from snapping on this lady for talking to my child in a way that I didn't like because he's scared. He's a baby. What do you mean?
Yeah. It takes a lot and it takes a village. But it takes a lot to censor. I have not done the best. I mean, meetings with teachers, like, can we just go back to when you had said earlier something that I didn't like? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So or advocating like I'm sorry, you said we were going to end on this. One more thing. My baby's about to graduate, so it don't matter at this point. But they said that Jace had a moment where he took without paying for a $2 breakfast sandwich from the lunch breakfast line or whatever at school. Mm-hmm. And they sent me a letter talking about expelling him or something. And I was like, this is, y'all. And I understand y'all want to scare people, but no, you're not expelling my baby for $2 and some change of a breakfast sandwich.
Yeah, for hard. Yeah.
So, I think as parents, just don't fuck with our kids. He didn't get kicked out. Because advocacy. Like, I had the whole damn city up there at that hearing because they had a whole hearing about it. So,
Girl, the way I love for shit to come from my attorney website, don't make me have to email y'all from work.
Yeah. So,
okay. Have a nice day, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.